Welcome to the Maracana Stadium here in Rio, which in a couple of hours will be filled with tens of thousands of people for the opening ceremony of the 15th Summer Games. Now, it's a closely guarded secret what goes on in these ceremonies before they actually begin, but we can play you in a little bit of the rehearsal, the dress rehearsal, and I've seen it. It's a very exciting show with a big message of inclusion, challenging the world to think differently about disability and to think of us all as impaired, disabled and abled in all sorts of different ways. Now, of course, these are the biggest games ever, more than 4,300 athletes from 159 countries taking part. But the build-up to the games have been undeniably controversial. The budget was cut, some of the venues have had to be scaled down, and the IPC President, Sir Philip Craven, a former British Paralympian himself, had to admit just a couple of weeks ago that they had never been in this kind of situation before. They are sounding much more confident now. They say well over 55 to 60% of the tickets have already been sold, and they're expecting that to grow as the games get underway. I caught up with him earlier this morning and I asked him had he had to read the Riot Act.
No, the Riot Act wasn't read, but the consequences of inactivity probably were made quite clear.
Because it would have looked very bad for Rio, wouldn't it?
It would have been a disaster for the IPC and all the athletes coming here, and it would have looked bad for Rio and Brazil.
Do you think there is a lesson here for the kinds of countries that get the games?
No, I don't. I think Brazil's a great country, and I think the games should go around the world. You know, there has to be certain things, security, the right sort of funding. Let's not kid ourselves, the games cost money. But the benefits, and I think that's been proven in London, despite certain commentaries to the contrary, has been a great investment. It lifted the country at a time when it needed to be lifted.
As a man who's met Putin face to face, how difficult was it to face down the Russians?
Not at all. This was about state-sponsored doping, and our board unanimously and vigorously said that can't be allowed to happen, and that's the decision, suspend the Russian Paralympic Committee. You know, if you've got state-sponsored doping and they want it, and they're for it, then what can you do? It doesn't matter how big the country is or how small, you're a goner until you fix it.
What do you hope then for these games in terms of legacy?
Legacy will be massive. Legacy will be a transformation of people's perceptions to the effect that everyone in the nation should be an equal member of society. That'll take time to develop, but that will happen. And you only get that through positive experiences.
And there's no doubt this is a fast-growing movement. There are 6 new countries taking part in these games, including Somalia. There are 22 sports this time around, 2 new sports because canoe and triathlon have joined. And we'll also see the first refugee team, including a Syrian, Ibrahim Hussein, who came from Deir ez-Zor near the Iraqi border and who lost his leg in a rocket attack and who now lives in Greece. The full spectrum of Paralympic talent is going to be on display here from tonight, and it's going to take over much of Channel 4 for the next 11 days.